Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be a full face makeup look using nothing but NYX. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I have a full face of NYX for you, and I've got quite a lot of products that I either haven't tried yet or that are products that I used to use way back in the day, because NYX is the only sort of more affordable brand that I don't think I've ever done a full face makeup look with, and that's just because NYX is a true throwback for me, going back to like my very early makeup days and me sort of playing around with things. So this is also sort of like a dive into like makeup history a little bit as well. So I'm looking forward to putting all of these products on my face. But before we do that, it may be good to know that I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, which greatly skews my makeup preferences. And because I have been buying, trying, and reviewing makeup for more than a decade, I have some strong opinions as well. Plus, if you're interested in eyeshadow palettes, essence, and Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup, then this channel may have to offer something that you might be looking for. So I hope you'd like to join the Snow Angel family and subscribe. So I'm putting my hair back with a little hairband, and then we're gonna go straight in. This was a product one of you told me to try when I did a full face of makeup, the Honey Do Me Up Primer. And this is a weird product. First of all, it's very tiny for the amount of money I paid. Like, NYX has really gone up in price over the years. Plus, for a while, they were really difficult for me to buy. So they used to be an online only brand, and then I could get it in stores. This is what the texture looks like, by the way. It's got this little spatula thing, so I think I'll just do it like this. Ooh. Ugh. Just to, you know, get some on. And then we're gonna rub this in. So yeah, NYX used to be an online only brand, and it was one of those brands, you know, remember this guy? The jumbo pencil in milk was like everywhere at the time. And I'm talking, you know, 2009, 2010-ish makeup industry, beauty community, sort of. That's when this was going on. And I remember really trying my hardest to get my hands on certain things, and they were very much raved about and talked about in the online beauty community. A lot of Dutch bloggers love their products. So that's sort of where a lot of my NYX trial came from. And then they moved into stores here, but then the availability became very limited. And then we had NYX stores for a little bit, but those have disappeared as well. So that's why NYX can be a little bit difficult to get, because their stock is not great in stores. So I got most of this online through Douglas with a 20 or 25% discount, just to make it worth it in the end. So I also have their HD eyeshadow primer. And this is one I used to use as well. I believe there's a review up on my blog for this product from like 2012. So this is probably one of the first makeup products I really wrote a dedicated review to. But I believe it's in a blog post with some other primers as well, because I was like trying to find a primer that I like. I prefer the Milani one, but this one gets the job done for sure. And then, just because NYX is a brand that I feel is all about the brows and the lips, so I'm gonna start off with a lip product, because I do want to try and show you as many of the products that I got. This is the Fat Oil. This is another product that you asked me to try. This is in the shade Supermodel. The very popular one was out of stock, of course. And it's a dupe for the Dior, what's it called? This one, it's right here, the Dior lip oil. This smells like candy, and I don't love it when lip products smell this strongly, but I'll put this on just so I can let you know what I think of the texture in a little bit. So this does go on really comfortably onto the lips. It sits really nicely. I have worn that one once before, but for most of these products, it's like the first time I'm trying them today. So most of it is a first impression. What is not a first impression, and what made me want to do this full face of NYX, is the Born to Glow foundation. I put this in a foundation review last year, and I like this so much that I was like, okay, I need to try some more NYX, because they are really doing good things. Mine is in the shade Porcelain, and I really found it was a really good shade match, and I love the finish this gives. I don't use a lot, just about this much. And this one, it's one of those things that just instigated other products that I wanted to try when I tried it in 2022. So this is a really nice, more glowy formula, really good wear time as well. And it comes in a heap of shades, which I think at this price point, because I think it retails for around 13 euros, is actually really decent. So, and that's actually what I did manage to pick up in store. This is a lovely, lovely foundation. So that's the foundation on. I don't need any more coverage, I feel, but I am going to go in with a bit of concealer in a minute. But do you just see how lovely this texture is and how good the shade matches? It's perhaps a little bit more yellow toned than what I would prefer. But if I put on bronzer and everything else, it looks absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with this shade. It's a wonderful foundation and it instigated the entire full face makeup look with NYX. The Bare With Me concealer got a lot of hype last year, so I finally picked it up. It's in the shade, what shade is this? So the Bare With Me concealer I have in shade Fair. I haven't put this on my face before. I did swatch it and it seemed to have a really nice texture, so we're just gonna do it like this. I know that everybody, like with a pump, they go straight in from the pump, but this is how much I still have left and I'm already like almost finished putting on my concealer because I don't like to go in with too much. This is all I tend to use. So I still have left, and that's one pump, which is perhaps a bit too much for me. I'm using the BK Beauty 109 brush, by the way, to blend in my foundation and concealer, in case you were wondering. And that's the concealer, which I think goes with the foundation really well. It's just a hair lighter than the foundation, so that was okay, but it blended in pretty well. I had a little bit of streakiness from the brush that I'm using, but you know, nothing a finger can't fix. And then a gift free with purchase that I received with my order was the HD finishing powder. And this was one, it's just a mini, but it's one that I used to use already for travel before. I used to have a mini of this that I decluttered. Oh, there's still a sticker on this. And this is their translucent finishing powder, which I do really enjoy, but it is a little bit too drying if I use it for like a longer period of time. So for travel, this little guy has been really lovely, but I did declutter it in the end because I now have a mini hourglass powder and I just prefer that one. So I was like, okay, I can use this for the video, but this is probably not going to stay around for a very long time. So I finally got into the powder. Let me apply it. Just a minimal amount of powder because my dry skin doesn't like too much powder. And since this is quite a drying powder, I know I shouldn't use too much of it. So that's another like old-time favorite that I now can go back to, which I really enjoy. We now need to go into cheeks. And for cheeks, I have products that are mostly new to me, save for this. And I just bought this so I could show it to you in a video. Who remembers the little square blushes that NYX used to do with the little like domes in them? Like it was like little pyramids. And they did a shade called Taupe. And they still do in their Sweet Cheeks line a shade called Taupe. And this was everyone's favorite when it came to like a contour shade before we had proper contour shades. And I think that on me, it can be a contour shade. So I'm gonna be applying this as contour. And I'm gonna go in with the matte bronzer in the shade Light for my bronzer. It seems like a really nice light shade. It is a little bit yellow though. And then the liquid highlighter from their Born to Glow range. This is in the shade Sunbeam. And then for blush, this line comes in so many shades, but on the website so much was out of stock that I went with their Wonderstick blush in the shade Deep Magenta and Ginger, which this is for deep skin. I'm not sure. So I'm probably going to apply the lighter one because it seemed more cool toned, and that's why I picked it. Very often I find that at the drugstore, a lot of the lighter blush options are great for like warmer undertones and not so much cooler undertones. So sometimes it's good to look in like the things that are marketed more to deeper skin, I find, if you want to find cool toned options. So let me do the contour first, because that I'm a bit nervous for, because I haven't applied contour in a hot minute. So I'm going to use my BK Beauty 110 brush for this, because I think that may be nice. So top of the ear to the corner of my mouth, but I have a very long face, so I do tend to apply my contour a little bit differently than what most people recommend, because I feel it's too far down. If I, like, this is a bit better than this, because I have more of a cheekbone. The Sweet Cheeks blush in So Taupe still works as a contour as well. I have to be very careful with it though. It's easily overapplied. And then we're going in with the bronzer. And I normally just, you know, apply my bronzer where I would a contour, because I need to warm up my face more so than anything else. So I do like the shade of the bronzer. I mean, it's pretty natural. It's a bit strong in the cheek department right now because of the contour, but I just sort of blend them together. But yeah, it's okay. It definitely minimizes my forehead just a little bit, which is why I'm wearing my hair down today as well. I need to get a haircut desperately. But yeah, I think it is a good shade. It's perhaps a little bit too on the Oompa Loompa side for me. It pulls a little bit too warm. I wish that if we could blend these two more together, then I think this shade would be better for me. I prefer things, even a bronzer, if they're a bit more cool tone leaning. That's just me. So yeah, this may not be necessarily my favorite, but I definitely want to go back to that bronzer to see how I like it. And then the Born to Glow highlighter. Let me just put a little bit on the back of my hand. It seems a bit more of a lilac-y kind of shade. And I'm not going to go in with too much. Like, it's pink, but it seems to have quite a purple undertone. So let me just see what happens. Again, way too much. I'm just spreading what I just had on my fingertip to the other fingertip, and then we're applying it. I mean, I'd rather go back in with more. Looks very shiny on the back of my hand, and then when I shear it out and apply it, it doesn't disappear. It's just a really nice transparent base, but it's more of like a natural glow. Like, oh, I do like that. That's pretty. So that highlighter is a success. Love that. Now for the blush. So I'm going to go in with the shade that I think is Deep Magenta. And I'm just warming it up on my finger. Just a little bit. And you can see the shade here, that it's got a bit of a plumminess to it, which is why I thought this might be better for me than some of the other shades they did. So that's what you have going on. Reminds me a lot, like, it's not exactly the same, but it reminds me a little bit of the shade, I think it was Grace from the Rare Beauty liquid blushes that I actually decluttered because it was so pigmented that I couldn't get away with it. And it dried down really quickly. So that's one I got rid of. Yeah, I like that. Moving on to brows then. So I have their Precision brow pencil, and I think the thing I tried in the past from them is their HD brow pencil, if that's still around. This is in the shade Blonde. So this is hopefully the right shade for me. It's square. It doesn't have any sort of shape to it. It's just like a rectangle, which is weird. And that's another thing I feel NYX is really doing a lot in. It's brows and lip products for them, it seems, what they're really focusing on. And I'm just not really a brow gal. Like, I fill it in and I apply brow gel, and that's it. And then we're using this guy, the Thickening Brow Mascara in the shade Cool Blonde, with a massive applicator, but not as big as the product that is seemingly duping this, which is by Essence, which is also called something like the Thicket Brow Mascara or something like that. That one is even more massive and more difficult to control. And I have to say, I do quite like the shade of this. It's a nice, cool-toned, taupey shade, which I love for my brows. And it's not too difficult to apply. I was thinking that maybe it's too big, But this is a brow gel that I need to give a bit more of a whirl. Once my S's Make Me Brow, which is my favorite one, when that one is done, because I do like the look of this. What do we think? I quite like the brow game that we've got going on today. Then quickly, I'm going to be double priming my lids with my MAC Paint Pot, and I'll be right back. And then we're moving into eyeshadow, and I have a couple of eye products here. I've got one of their liquid eyeshadows that I think I just want to play with in the inner corner, or maybe like on the lower lash line here. I have their Ultimate Utopia palette. I have two of the Epic Wear eyeliners, and Milk. Like, who didn't own this at some point? I don't reach for mine a whole lot. I tend to just use it as a base if I want my eyeshadow to be more vibrant. But today I've already double primed my lids, and I don't feel that this is necessarily going to be something I want to, like, for the first time I'm using this palette. I don't want to have to go in with that wide base. I tend to use it under pastels mostly, just to give them a bit of an extra pop, so I don't really use it a lot, but I always have it on hand. So we're gonna play with the eyeshadow palette mostly, and then I'll see if I can rope in the other products as well. So I wanted to try this because Erica Conger, my friend on here, was raving about this, and I have been eyeing this up for such a long time. And then I looked at it again, and I was like, there's a lot of superfluous shades in here for me, and I thought that all of these more sparkly shades were glitters. They're not, they're just metallics. And we get cool tones here, then we go into more rosy things, some more cocky neutrals, and then it goes a little bit more warmer towards that end. So I feel it's got a good range. Like if you're a beginner and this would be your only palette, I think you'd have a lot of options. Of course, I want to go in with this corner here. And that's another thing I love about this, is that you essentially get quads. Every quad is a thing, it seems, which I really appreciate, but I really want to play with these 4 shades because those are just my shades. And that's the eye look done. I really like it. It's giving me all the cool tone vibes. I love that shimmer on the lid. It's so pretty. And really all I did was use just those 4 shades that I said I was gonna use. That's all I used. These 4, this is in the crease, this is in the outer V, that all over the lid, and then the taupey shade and the teal are also on the lower lash line. Then I used the Glow Shot liquid eyeshadow in the shade Lychee on the inner corner, and I used the Epic Wear eyeliner in the shade Periwinkle on the lower lash line as well to tightline just a little bit. And I think this is a really pretty look. This is something I definitely like wearing. The shades need a little bit of building up. That teal skipped a little bit as I was trying to blend it out. That's something I suffer with. Well, suffer with is not the word for it, but something that happens to me a lot when I have cheaper eyeshadows that are a little bit more like of a drier texture because of my lids just being a bit more textured. It just happens. So now it's time to move on to lips. And I have a red lip and I have a more nudie lip. And I think the nude lip is going to be better for me. I'm gonna go with the red on first. It's not gonna go with my outfit and the rest of the look. So I'm gonna take this one off and then wear this one throughout the day. But the Smooth Whip Matte Lip Cream in the shade Icing on Top. So this is my first time putting this one on. It's a really nice, very vibrant orangey toned red. It's a very moussey, pleasant texture. I'm not sure whether this is truly going to dry down or not. It actually reminds me a little bit of some of the like lip tints that I'm trying out from K-Beauty brands. It definitely has that K-Beauty kind of vibe to it in terms of texture. Not in terms of color payoff, because this is a very intense shade. Does it make my teeth look yellow? I think it does because of the orange undertone. But yeah, this is a stunning shade. I think for summer, this is going to be something I'm gonna rock for sure. But let me take it off and we're gonna go in with the This Is Milky Gloss. So this is Milky Gloss in the shade Ubi Milkshake. This was like the only shade from the entire line that really appealed to me, and I find it just a touch too light for me. But it works with the eye look and the shirt I'm wearing a lot better than the other shade I had on. The lip oil was like soaked up by my lips quite nicely, so that was a great prep for my lips. And this feels, it's a little bit thick. Like it really puts a layer on your lips, but at the same time, it does feel very comfortable. So I do really enjoy this one. I'm gonna wear this makeup for the rest of the day, and I'll check in with you later when I get home from work to see how this is gonna stay on. Alrighty, so this is my end of the day check-in. This has been on for about 10 plus hours, if not more. And I have to say, I like it. The makeup did break up quite a bit around my nose. That usually happens, and you know, the Born to Glow, the name says it all, so you do look a little bit extra glowy at the end of the day, but I personally don't mind that. I didn't have to do any touching up. The eyeshadow is still looking nice and vibrant. The lip product, of course, wore off first. I mean, that lasted only like about a couple hours or so. But yeah, no major creasing, also not around the eye area. It stayed looking pretty smoothly. Yeah. Overall, I'm very pleased with what this NYX makeup look turned out to be. So let me round up the video. So that's it, a full face makeup look from NYX. I think this is a great video to come back with after not having been here for a week. In case you were wondering where I went, life got in the way, it happens. So yeah, that's it for me for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I still have another full face makeup look in the works. I'm going to be doing a full face makeup look with nothing but Dutch brands in the future, and I've done most major brands by now. So unless there's anything in particular that you would like to see me do, then just let me know in a comment down below. And in the meantime, you know what to do. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye!